Coming to you from Orange County, California, this is the JuggLife podcast with Max Ada and Chad Wesley Smith.
Yeah. I mean, it started a few years ago, maybe 10 or so years ago. I realized that every time I opened my sports page, there was another sports team calling themselves a family. And I think I knew what they meant. I mean, I think what they were saying is they cared about each other. And I reckon that's really important, the notion that if we care about each other, that somehow all the hard work and this whole journey is going to get richer. That just made total sense to me. And maybe it's just semantics, but as I start thinking really about family, I mean, what I know about family is it's unconditional, right? I mean, that's, sometimes your family is a little screwed up, but they're still your family and you love them, right? But that's not what high performance teams are about. High performance teams are not unconditional. In fact, they're highly, highly conditional. And they're in teams in all walks of life, all businesses that you really admire, that are really businesses that have achieved over a long period of time, and athletic teams that have achieved over a long period of time, that consistently achieve. What you find is they have really, really stringent conditions. This is how we do things here. And when people get outside of those parameters, they're really outside of the organization itself. So conditional versus unconditional, I think at some point we have to make friends with the fact that, and maybe this is even more of a challenge for millennials, possibly, is that we got to make friends with there's going to be conditions. And ultimately we want those conditions in this particular organization. And then outside of the organization, outside of that high performance organization, when we're in family, that's probably unconditional, right? I mean, we're going to, right's right, wrong's wrong, but we're going to go about it in a far different way. We're not going to separate from each other, for example, right? And that happens all the times in high performance athletics.
I think it's that creating those certain expectations in which that conditional love is given. It's going to cause people to rise to that expectation, or for you to be able to identify that this person isn't going to rise to it and they're not loved conditionally anymore in it. So the next one, you talk about accountability and how creating accountability within your program here has helped you guys be successful.
Yeah, I mean, I think in all successful organizations, having the participants, having the team members, feel accountable really to each other is what it's about. And you've got to kind of get over yourself, right? And like, we value selflessness as the actual value, and that's, what we say is team first, self last. And again, that it's not meant to be a cute saying. It's meant to be a declaration that's how we're going to make all the decisions here, right? So when it really gets difficult, what we're going to do is the first lens that's going to come down is what's best for the team, and that's how we're going to make decisions. Now, obviously, if somebody has some trauma in their life and they need us, we're always going to put our arms around people, right? We're always going to come to them when they're really needed. But the routine day-to-day decisions of the team, of the organization, is always what's best for the organization first. And in some ways, it's an easy declaration to give, right? It's the sleeves off your vest, if you will, because we have a fiduciary responsibility to do that. And all we're really doing is just saying it out loud, just having the courage to say it out loud. Here's how we're going to do it. The decisions that we make are going to be what's best for the team. That's the organization you're a part of. And sometimes as individuals, we come second to that decision.
And so many of these, kind of different axiom mantra stuff, as you were saying, they can't just be, painting on the gym wall. And that's probably what really sets it apart from, anyone can come up with fun, motivational sayings.
Yeah, that's right.
But to actually put into practice and live them on a daily basis, and when there is a tough decision, I think you see something like this with the New England Patriots.
Sure.
And they make these personnel decisions that maybe they love this player and he did all this great stuff, but he is no longer the necessary component to the team, and they have to put Robert Kraft or Bill Belichick has to put a personal bias aside in that. And and it is a tough thing to do. And for me as a business owner, I've had to make those type of decisions, and sometimes I've done a good job of it, and sometimes I've waited too long on it and done a poor job of it. But
This is from the episode with Jack Clark, the Cal head rugby coach. One of our favorite episodes that we've done. He just had a ton of great insight into leadership and building team culture.